You guys, I finally created my first ever booktube tag, and I say finally, which probably isn't appropriate seeing as I've only been on booktube for like 12 weeks, but I really wanted to do this and I'm so excited. So anyone who has watched my channel for any period of time will know that I like to do sort of themed posts related to each month. This month's theme was March Hares and Mad Hatters, which I have been using to post anything that I can possibly think of that is related to Alice in Wonderland. And of course, as soon as I came up with the idea for this theme, I thought it would be just so perfect and so fitting for me to do an Alice in Wonderland themed book tag. Now I had a look around and there is an Alice in Wonderland book tag out there, which I strongly recommend you go and have a look at because it is a lovely tag, but the prompts weren't quite what I wanted to do, and I got so overexcited with the idea of doing this that I figured why not just jump on in, try my luck, and make my own book tag. So this is the Alice's Adventures book tag, which I have created especially to share with you. So the first prompt is Alice, and the prompt is to read a quote from your favourite strong female protagonist. For this I have chosen Mara Motsway from the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, which you all know I end up raving about how much I love in pretty much every video I ever make. And I don't actually have a copy of any of these books, so I can't read from the book itself, but I will read the quote to you. Be content with who you are and where you are, and do whatever you can to help others find such contentment and joy and understanding that you have managed to find yourself. So the second prompt is The White Rabbit, a book that everyone else has read that you were late to the party on. And for me that has got to be pretty much every YA book that has been released in the last like 5 to 7 years. I have not read YA for a long time because obviously when I was at high school and then university, my life was kind of taken up with reading and studying, and I didn't read much for free time. So that means that like every book that everyone else seems to be talking about on Bookstagram and on BookTube, I haven't actually read. I can't even name them because I don't know what they are, but just think of a YA book from the last 7 years. That is on the list of books that everyone else has read that I haven't. The third prompt is Down the Rabbit Hole. Read your favourite first book sentence. For this I have chosen Margaret Atwood's The Blind Assassin. And the first sentence of this book is, 10 days after the war ended, my sister Laura drove a car off a bridge. And that is clearly the kind of sentence that is going to suck you in from the very start. The fourth prompt is Drink Me. Go and make your favourite thing to drink while reading and come back and show us. So it'll come as no surprise to any of you that my favourite thing to drink, whether reading or otherwise, is tea. So here is my cup of peppermint and lavender tea, which I'm hoping will calm down my ridiculous level of excitement over this tag, in my favourite China teacup. The fifth prompt is The Caterpillar. Name a character who gives good advice and a character who needs it. For this prompt, I have chosen Mara Motsway as my advice giver. I know that that's twice that she's mentioned in one tag, but she genuinely is a really, really intelligent, lovely, well-grounded woman who does give very good advice. The character that I have chosen who needs good advice is, of course, Harry Potter, because he just seems to be incapable of accepting teamwork as a necessity to most of his plans. He's okay at it at the start, but as he gets older and sort of more entrenched in the fact that he is the chosen one, he stops kind of realizing that other people around him are actually capable of helping and possibly even better at some of the things that he's trying to do than he is. So he's the character that I've chosen that seriously needs some good advice, or it needs to learn how to listen to good advice. I can't believe I did this. The sixth prompt is The Cheshire Cat. Try and give a 6-word explanation of a book that confused you. For this book, I have chosen Between the World and Me. This is a book that definitely left me feeling confused and that I felt like I just didn't get enough out of in the first reading. And my 6-word explanation is, okay, poetry is a metaphor for everything. I don't know if that's an accurate representation of the book, but it's 6 words, so it'll do. The 7th prompt is The Mad Hatter and the March Hare. Tell us about a fictional friendship that you wish you could join in on. And I think that I would actually really like to try and get in on the friendship between Ginny and Luna in Harry Potter, because both of those two are pretty much my favourite characters in the book. Sorry about the rabbit making noise in the background. I would love to be a part of that and hang out in Hogwarts with them as well, especially if it meant that I got to be a witch. Like, Next prompt, although I have lost track of all of the numbers, is the Dormouse. Name a book that put you to sleep. And this was a prompt in a tag that I did recently, possibly even a tag that I also uploaded today. I've completely lost track of time. And for this prompt, I have chosen The Hobbit. Strange choice it might seem, because this book hasn't actually put me to sleep, because I've never actually fallen asleep while reading a book. So this is the closest I've got, and it's my autumn vibes, it's my cozy vibes, it's my snuggle up on the couch with a blanket and read books while drinking red wine vibes. So this is the closest thing I have to a book that put me to sleep. Prompt number 9 is The Queen of Hearts. Tell us a book that you would decree as compulsory reading. And for this, even though I know it is an obvious choice, and in some cases it is compulsory reading in a lot of high schools, I have chosen To Kill a Mockingbird because there's a reason why it ends up being compulsory reading on most high school set lists. This book has some phenomenal themes and messages about humanity, and of course brings to light some very, very horrific moments in this case obviously American history, but it's something that us in Australia also can't really afford to look away from, because we have very similar atrocities in our own histories here as well, and this book kind of brings to light that history that some people try and shy away from being aware of. The next prompt is the Muck Turtle. Be brave and read a passage or a quote from a book that made you cry. For that, I have chosen Everything is Illuminated, because this book just tugged at my heartstrings so many times when I was reading it. And the passage goes like this. He had tried not to make a mess when he felt the first flash of heat across his scalp. He was embarrassed when his legs gave out beneath him, ashamed when he realized he would die on the floor, alone in the magnitude of his grief, when he understood that he would die before he could tell Brod how beautiful she was that day, and that she had a good heart which was worth more than a good brain, and that he was not her real father, but wished with every blessing, every day and night of his life that he was, before he could tell her of his dream of eternal life with her, of dying with her or never dying. He died with the crumpled slip of paper clutched in one hand and the abacus bead in the other. Hopefully this quote doesn't spoil anything for you guys, and I don't think it means too much taken out of context, but that paragraph had me bawling my eyes out when I read it for the first time, and it's also brought tears to my eyes a little bit now, even reading it just then. So let's move on from that. The next prompt is The Flowers. Show us at least one pretty book cover. First book that I've chosen for this is, of course, this beautiful HarperCollins design edition of The Beauty and the Beast, because it's like the prettiest book that I own. Not only is the cover pretty, but everything inside it is pretty too. And the second one that I've chosen, just as a little bonus shout out, is the Penguin edition of The Catcher in the Rye, because I just love the typography, which is obviously the only thing that is on the cover, but I just think it's so pretty. Prompt number 12 is The Walrus and the Carpenter. Tell us about a character whose original appearance was deceptive. And for this, I have chosen Lady Audley from Lady Audley's Secret. Even though really not only her original appearance, but her entire appearance throughout the book is deceptive, and that is the main point of the book. Like, you know before even starting this book that Lady Audley is going to be the murderess in the book, but even knowing that, you read it and the descriptions are deliberately done in such a way that she comes across as this sweet, innocent, cherub, girlish Victorian housewife who couldn't possibly be capable of doing such a thing. So that is my choice for this prompt. Prompt number 13 is Unbirthdays. Tell us about a book that you would gladly read every day of the year. Obvious choice that I know probably a lot of people are going to make, choice that is just so cliche, but it's true, so I can't lie and pretend that it's any other book. That choice is, of course, Harry Potter. This is a book that I read whenever I don't want to do anything. It's like my procrastination book, because I know that I am going to love it. And prompt 14 and final prompt is The White Knight. Tell us about a character that everyone laughs at but who deserves better. And for this, I chose Neville Longbottom. And in fact, I only included this question so that I could talk about Neville Longbottom, because he is just the sweetest, most darling little cinnamon roll of a person who everyone laughs at in the first few books, but he is so lovely and so brave and he stands up for everything that he believes in and is just a total hero, and he deserves so much praise for being the beautiful, beautiful person that he is. So that is the end of my very long first ever book tag, the Alice's Adventures book tag. And because it's my first ever tag and I'm really, really overexcited, I've probably tagged everyone. So maybe I'll like do some talking and like just stream some names through here. If your name is flowing past my face right now, or whatever the hell I've decided to do, then you are tagged, and please, please, please do this tag, because you're my booktube friends and I just made a tag, and so therefore you are obliged to support me in my tag making and do this tag. Sorry. I'm sorry. Thank you so much for indulging me in my first ever book tag. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it wasn't too long. I will see you on Sunday for my wrap up and TBR video, and maybe for other things in between. I don't know when this video is coming out, but either way, until then, stay classic.
Hello.